How do you find winning creatives for SaaS? So give me the next 10 minutes and I will show you how do you go about testing images for your SaaS ads and how do you save time by avoiding images that are never going to work. How do you find winning creative? Hey, my name is Jean-Michel Moreau and I help SaaS CEOs unlock product growth using a scientific approach to advertising. After 20 years of experience, I've created the massive feedback method so that CEOs can grow and scale faster and make a bigger impact with their products. In every episode, you're going to get something that you can immediately implement that's going to accelerate user acquisition so that you can scale and exit faster. So give me the next 10 minutes and I'll show you how to go about testing creatives for your ads, for your product, for your webpage, so that you save time testing things that are never going to work. Let's get into it. So if you're following along with my system already, you've isolated the top pain points, you've tested headlines, you know which headlines are working, and you also have isolated offers. So if you're at this point, you may be asking yourself, like, what do I do for creative? How to find inspiration? Now, there's a bunch of stuff, generic advice, that's pretty good advice. So I'm going to just repeat it very briefly. Look at your competitors, look for inspiration in ads at an ads library. You can also look at TikTok if your audience advertises on TikTok. So I would look on the Facebook ads library. Also, you can look at VidTow and look at what unlisted videos in your niche are spending the most money, and that's going to give you an idea of video content. It's going to give you something you could use to make a mood board. Or you've heard that already, right? That's very generic advice. Like, go look at your competitors. One page I like to show people just for general inspiration is Opt-in Monster because it is so good. All of the pages from this group that owns Opt-in Monster are crazy optimized. And I'm not going to go too much in the page because we're trying to help you come up with image creative, but I just want to show you how this relates. Opt-in Monster, everything is a benefit. This is a template. Again, copy here, problem solution. Look at how the solution is benefit. Instantly benefit to benefit with the most number one awesome thing. Just again, if your copy doesn't feel strong, the copy is so important. Now let's look at what Opt-in Monster is doing to visually highlight the features and benefits of their app. Because the Opt-in Monster audience knows some features that they want to communicate those visually. And look, they're doing it with concepts. Concepts are really good. You don't want to show a screenshot of your app or like video walkthrough of your app because probably your app, it's got all kinds of distracting elements. It's not clear. It's a whole app. It's not an ad. Your app is not like an ad itself. It's not ready to just be shown. There's too many details in there that are going to get people lost. So it's very important that you stay high level conceptual with your drawings, low detail, like wireframe stuff. And you'll see this across all kinds of SaaS. If I go to random SaaS pages, I can show you this over and over again if they've been optimized. But look, these are showing you what you can get in the app without showing you deep into the app and what all the buttons look like and the menu bars and all that, right? So this is a great example of conceptual stuff. And then later in the page, it gets more detailed. Here again, the features have like these conceptual icons. And I'm telling you this because this could help you with your ads. If you're doing a look at the app, here's what you're going to get. Image, that's a great place to go, is try to do something where you're communicating the benefit conceptually. And there's a lot of inspiration you can find just by Googling for SaaS ads, but I want to highlight some things that are worth trying yourself when you're looking for inspiration, you're trying to come up with something. An image of the avatar works really well, right? So the avatar can either be experiencing benefits, happy, or they can be sad. If your copy is highlighting a pain point, which is usually what I recommend, then the avatar looks kind of frustrated. They're like, crap, this is not working for me. That's one way. Here's a product where it's very price driven. They're saving you money on storage, and they basically have the pricing tiers as a carousel. So carousels are worth testing. If you're going to test a carousel, first test single images, right? Get some single images working before you test the whole carousel. It's just more complicated. So one of the principles we're following is trying to isolate variables, trying to understand what works before we add complexity. So if you are thinking of testing a carousel, test one image first. So this is kind of like over the shoulder, showing you images in the app. And so what I would recommend is I would recommend something similar to this center image, because what's good here is that you are leading with your headline, and this is not the actual app. It's like a vector concept drawing without all the details. Here's an example of showing the benefit, of showing the success outcome. Look here, for this one, the headline is how Lululemon employees engage. It just matches the headline, right? So how can you depict that? Are there people experiencing the benefit or experiencing the pain of not getting the benefit? You could test images around that. Here is another great one. So this is subscription changes can drive 3x more revenue growth. So this is like to get people to ascend your pricing ladder and some software to help you there. But look at how simple this is, right? This is just showing, this is supposed to be a bar graph, but instead of showing a complicated bar graph with all the numbers and the details, 3x is the big number you need to know. This is what I'm talking about, simplifying your concept as much as possible. And think about how difficult this was to create. Not difficult, right? This is a bunch of rectangles and a number. So you can be testing things like this as well in Canva if you're naming a specific benefit. Here's some more examples of this super reduced style, right? Slack ad here. Reduce your email by 46%. It's a promised headline, and it's just like super, it's connected to the product, right? It's just these emojis like people, yeah, like they don't show Slack. They don't show all the details and the widgets. You know, they're not doing a demo of Slack where you're waiting for it to load, right? It's like incredibly basic. Another incredibly basic ad for intercoms. Intercom, look at how simple this ad is. Build a bot in minutes, no code required, right? So it's just promising the outcome, handling the objection, right? So this is all they're leading with the headline. It's basically a text ad, right? And these are the kinds of things you can test very quickly. There's probably a bunch of super high polished ads that will work for you and a bunch of easy to execute ads. And the benefit with the easy to execute ads is you can test way more of them. So go that route first. Look at Asana doing the same thing here, right? They're not showing you all of Asana. Asana's this big platform, actually. A bunch of features, actually quite complicated when you look at all the things you can do. They're not trying to show you that. They're just saying, hey, we promise the thing you want, all your work in one place, some kind of visual depiction from the app, but it's not showing the whole app. Look, they've grayed out the buttons don't even have words in there because that would be distracting you, right? So they've made it very simple. And if you're trying to show your app, this is a great way to go about it. Look at Hotjar is doing the same thing. Look, they are showing you, they're trying to show you what you get these mouse tracks in Hotjar, right? You see where people were going. This is you, that you were the customer here, Hotjar, and now you are seeing what's going on. So they're just, and look, you don't see Hotjar, right? It's a vector trying to show you the concept of the benefit, and they're trying here to just show you the benefit. This is almost like a headline. This is visually saying, see exactly what your customers are doing. I don't like this exactly because it's clever. Design faster processes. It's breaking some rules of copywriting. But whatever, DocuSign's huge. But I want to show you in terms of images, this is like a worried executive. We don't even know who he is. This is trying to get your customers to identify with you, completely leading with text here. These are easier things to test. Here's another fantastic one. Look at Wealthfront. They make an app about investing, right? So it's very complicated. There's nothing about the app in here. There's nothing here. It's like a phone, break up with your old bank account, huge headline, right? The ads are not about your app, even when you're trying to communicate. You're just trying to communicate the benefits visually and capture attention. And you can use the headline to actually capture the attention. Like, absolutely love this one. I love this one. Enough of this sheet. It's pretty funny. Pretty much uses some kind of solution to spreadsheet hell, right? And it's an Instagram story. But look at this. This is fantastic. Of course, this is much higher production value, right? That get an actor or UCG person to do this, or you did it. And definitely put a lot of work into this, but you could do this without as much work and it would still work okay. You could still have somebody just face palming, and you could get stock art image face palming and something like a concept of your app behind them. So you can do that when it's like pain point, right? I want to end with this. This is my rapid marketing canvas. Basically, it's just a canvas, and I'm not going to go into it too much here, but it's a canvas to help you map your customer to your product via your marketing. And whenever I'm making ads, I always want to look at this. I will refresh my mind about what do I understand about the customer, what's validated versus what's an assumption. So you've got these picture of your customer here. Some things you know sure, other things you have not validated. You haven't heard it from hundreds of customers yet. You're not 100% sure. Maybe you have some ad data, something, but you're not totally sure yet. So I like to keep track of this with what I'm doing in the marketing, especially if I'm marketing a lead magnet. If I'm making an indirect offer, if my image is for that, I want to always keep in mind, what are we doing here? So this is my actual own canvas for my business. And I know my main ad is a offer for a free guide about conversion rate optimization is touching one pain point. Look at how many other potential lead magnets I could make, potential ads I could test, right? So there's all these other angles related to these other pain points. I like to look at this whenever I'm working with anybody on their ads, just to make sure, refresh your mind with what is the customer going through. That's going to help you just make sure this ad is really about this one pain point or these two pain points. That's what we're focusing on. That's going to make everything make sense and be coherent with your understanding of the customer, your understanding of their journey, and your understanding of your product. I like to have just a visual reminder. What are we doing here as a helpful guide while I'm coming up with creative items?